Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jeff Hellinger on this frosty Monday morning here. Thanksgiving week, so much to see, so much to think about. We are about 3 minutes away from the implosion of the Georgia Dome. And, you know, people have different thoughts, observations about what this facility has meant to them during the course of the last 25 years, perhaps taking your family to see football games or concerts or to the 1996 Olympics. I think the feeling with this building is a little bit different as opposed to Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. When Atlanta Fulton County Stadium was brought down in the late 1990s, I think there was a lot more emotion from people. This building has been so prosperous, it has been so evergreen, it has been such an economic engine for this city, for this state, for this region. I think people view it more in the context of what it has brought the city in terms of money, in terms of prestige, and quite frankly, without this facility behind me, which will be knocked down here in about 2 minutes, there would be no Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But the evolution of Atlanta, when you think about what this city is now, today here in Thanksgiving week of 2017, as opposed to what it was like during Thanksgiving week of 1989 when they were breaking ground on this facility. I mean, it's such a radically different place. I mean, you know, we've had the Olympics. The Falcons are a completely different organization. Their place in the community is significantly different than it was in 1989. They're the defending NFC champs. In 1989, they were a team getting ready to fire their head coach and Marion Campbell. They were on their way to take on the Jets during Thanksgiving week of 1989, and nobody knew what the history of the franchise would be from there on, or what this Georgia Dome would mean, not only for what the NFL would be in our city, but what would this facility bring Atlanta in the years ahead? Certainly, as we stand here and we get ready for it to fall in the next minute, we know what it has brought. It has brought so much prosperity to our city. It is sad to see it go, but certainly we will see from here Mercedes-Benz Stadium that will be looming just beyond. So we are going to stay quiet to let you hear all of the noise, all of the energy, and all of the applause as the Georgia Dome falls on a cold Monday morning.
Oh yeah, it'll be around a while. I don't know what there is to protect. I guess it's best for me. I'm guessing they did it today because there's no conference. Thanksgiving week. It's probably more to clean up after a game than this. Some dust. I'm the only one who's not. Recorded by thousands and watched by one. Seconds away, if they're going to go accomplish. One not recording.
It's okay. It's okay. You can get it on YouTube, BoobTube, all kinds of tubes.
All kinds of tubes. It's done.
All right, folks, welcome back. We continue to cover the Georgia Dome implosion. All right, folks, we are back here. We are live. right, we are looking live now. We just saw it. All our camera angles, folks. That is the implosion of the Georgia Dome as the dust cloud starts to head right over the top of Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Look at the winds kind of blowing that right over Mercedes. They're definitely going to have to do some dusting off of Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But what appeared to be a very successful implosion of the Georgia Dome happened about 7:32 in the morning. Another angle right here you can see as that dust cloud continues to move over. In fact, even from our camera, it looks like we're starting to get some of that dust and debris there as well. Now, most of it just imploded directly in as they were planning on it. Not sure if those particular two walls that we're looking at right there were supposed to also fall in, but from our sky tracker angle we saw and the other angles where we're covering it, everything just imploded perfectly inside into the interior of the Georgia Dome. And now all that we're dealing with, the dust cloud, you can see it spreading out in just about all directions, but certainly mainly blowing to the south there. And that's exactly what Chesley McNeil said it would do. We had a northern wind that was blowing, and now that is blowing that dust cloud right over the top of Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But this is a live shot from the sky tracker, folks. You're looking at it. It's gone. The Georgia Dome, a pile of rubble and a dust cloud. Jeff Hullinger, do you have a tear in your eye, my friend? Because I know we've both been here for a long time following a lot of events at the Georgia Dome.
That facility, and now all that remains is the rubble beneath and the plume of smoke, which is rising above right now on this very cold morning. The traffic now on Ivan Allen has resumed. And you know, we have seen a lot of these buildings that have been imploded over the years, whether it's a hotel or other stadiums. But this one was very dramatic. I mean, it was really something to see, at least from our perspective here today. I don't know what the expectation was of what we were going to see, but instead of hearing a lot of applause and a lot of people hooting and hollering, it was kind of silent here because I think it was such an awesome sight, such a violent sort of a view of the explosion and the smoke that rose after that. But it has been quite a show, and now it's business back as usual in Atlanta. People going to work and things getting built. Construction continues all around town, and commerce, which defines the city, is now in full swing on this Monday morning. So it will take about 4 months for Adamo, which is the name of the company out of Detroit that has been in charge of this implosion, to clean up. And they will be able to recycle much of the concrete. They will be able to use it again. And we had someone from the Georgia World Congress Authority speak with us a little bit earlier this morning, about an hour and a half ago, just about how this area will be green and how it will be sustainable. And part of that is the fact that this facility was built in 1992. It was finished in 1992. So it adhered to a lot of EPA regulations. It didn't have a lot of toxins and a lot of groundwater issues that some older stadiums and certainly some hotels have had around the country, where there are real environmental concerns about poisoning the area of which these facilities have stood over the decades. But this is a different story here. Again, this facility was only here 25 years. And again, it had the latest technology of that time. And as a result, they will be able to use and reuse the concrete and the steel beams as well. I think what's really interesting now is we stand here on Ivan Allen, the wind has taken out some of the smoke. And now, for the first time, we can see Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is really awe-inspiring. And it is an extraordinary sight, one of which we were unable to see here on Ivan Allen. But now with the Georgia Dome removed and sent to an ash heap, so to speak, we're able to see the new stadium in its entirety. We still have a lot of people that are here milling around on both sides of Ivan Allen. Traffic is going by on both sides. It had been blocked for this implosion, but again, Atlanta police have done a nice job here as always, as they are making sure that the traffic is flowing very calmly, very admirably. And folks are still just kind of standing around and milling about, looking at the new stadium, which now has peeked through all of the dust, all of the dirt, and all of the smoke.
All right, folks, we continue to look at the dust cloud from the Georgia Dome implosion. From all our camera angles, it looks to be a fairly successful implosion, although back here at the studio, we're kind of wondering if those two walls, those panels right there, were supposed to come down as well. We can see Jeff Hullinger was just telling us about a lot of the debris. There you go. You could see it right there from that angle. It almost looks as if no, not sure if maybe that was supposed to fall or not, but from all angles we saw, fairly successful. Everything did implode upon itself. Didn't appear to be anything other than just a dust cloud that flew over towards Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Of course, a lot of the roads that were shut down. In fact, we'll show it to you right now, folks. Why don't we'll go ahead and take a replay, and we'll show, here you go. Starts on the right side of your screen there. You see the puff of smoke, and here it goes. And it's interesting because you see several of those dark panels facing us go right down as well, but two remain standing. Not sure if that was done intentionally or not. Here's another angle, a little bit closer. You see on the right side, the explosion starts. It almost looks, you could see the flashes going around that ring on the top there, and then everything all at once, including the Teflon roof that was left, some of the panels that were still on there, just kind of goes right down. A lot of that dust just goes straight up. And then, as Chesley McNeil told us, we had a northerly wind that was blowing into the south, and that's exactly where that dust cloud went. One more angle. Here we go. Starts on the right side. Puff of smoke. You can kind of see some of the charges lighting off. Another puff of smoke to the left, and then pretty much everything just goes straight down. And again, looks to be pretty successful. Remember, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, 83 feet away from that, the dust cloud immediately hitting it. But certainly they did have up some of those tarps and those black curtains to prevent any debris. As we get another angle from the ground here, and look at that, just straight down. A little reminiscent of when they demolished Fulton County Stadium. That kind of went around in a circle, actually. This kind of fell all in one piece there. But certainly curious about the two panels that didn't come down here. If you see them right here as we're facing it. But I'm sure they'll get out there. And they said 3 months to completely clear the scene. A lot of debris, a lot of that rebar, and a lot of concrete to get out of the way there. And of course, got to get the dust out of the roads as well. You can actually see some of the, looks like some of the dust there kind of hit one of our cameras. But there it is again as we replay. Jennifer Leslie, I know, has got a great vantage point up on top of the Westin Peachtree Plaza, the Sundial Restaurant. Jay Les, how did it look from 700 feet up?
Oh, it is amazing. It was amazing from up here, Crash, and you could hear the excitement. There are 200 people here who are watching it at the Sundial. They all had their cameras or their phones trained on the Georgia Dome, and you could hear the oohs and the ahs and the oh my goshes as the dome imploded. And I heard a lot of them say, wow, that happened so fast. They expected it, even though we kind of gave them a heads up, it would only take 12 seconds. They expected it to last longer. I think, it's such an enormous structure. How could it really go down that quickly? And yet it did. And now we see the plume of smoke still going. They initially expected this smoke to last for about 10 minutes. So this is all part of the planning. Going into this, they had the dust zone, and they checked the winds, and they, let people all around this area know what to expect. So They wanted no surprises. And I think the only surprise was just a delay by a minute or two, I believe, of the implosion. So we had to let people here know. They were checking their phones, checking the time, really ready for that 7:30 to get started. And but when it went down, you could hear the explosions up here, even through these thick glass windows. And what an exciting time it was to be here. Again, they sold out this watch party. This was the best seat in the house as far as I'm concerned, the best seat in town. And they sold out a couple of weeks ago. 200 people here to enjoy a breakfast buffet and get quite a view of this implosion. There are folks here who have been waiting. They've brought their children, they've brought their friends, and made this really a family affair. Come from afar. I talked to a gentleman from North Carolina who came down here to make sure he could get this front row seat to this implosion. And what an experience it was. You can see the smoke starting to clear away from the actual dome site now, and look what's left. Oh, look at what's left. You know, this will take months to clear, 3 months to clear, and they're actually going to crush this concrete, much of it here, and use it as the base for the new parking area and the green space and the hotel. And look, you can see people cannot take their eyes off. They still want to watch. They still want to see what's happening out there. This is the observation level of the Sundial restaurant. It's 3 levels, 3 tiers. This is the middle tier. And down below, the windows are just as crowded. People had their cameras right up against the windows so that they wouldn't get a glare and wouldn't have any obstruction to this perfect view from on high. We are 73 floors up. Interesting to note that all these windows are relatively new. After the Atlanta tornado came in March of 2008, it blew out more than 200 of the windows here on the West End. So the entire building, the entire hotel went through a facelift. And we are looking through those new windows here as we watch what's left of the Georgia Dome. Just the concrete and steel that you can see is left behind. And in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium next door certainly does not seem to have taken a ding, which is exactly as planned. So here we are, 7 stories up as we look down.
All right, Jennifer, thank you. I'm Jeff Hellinger. We're along Ivan Allen. We're with a family from Marietta. What is your name?
Brian Morris.
Brian Morris, introduce me to your family, if you would.
This is Kelly, this is Braden, and this is Gabriella.
Gabriella, what did you think of what you saw when that dome came tumbling down?
It was really cool to see, like, it just, like, collapsed just after 2 big blows.
Are you glad that you got up early to do this?
Yes.
It was worth it?
Uh-huh.
Do you think you'll remember it 10 years from today?
Yes.
You guys are saying all the right things. You know that? When did you decide that you were going to come down here? Did you have to sort of talk everybody into it?
I did. They were worried about it being cold, and we all braved it this morning, got up and made it happen. We have, she's got a hurt foot, but she made it, walked, and we're all super happy we came. It was amazing.
Sounds like this was your husband's idea, but you're probably pretty happy at this point that you came.
Really happy. It was his idea. I wasn't sure about coming, but we're glad we made it.
You guys have a good view?
Perfect view right here over the bridge.
Yeah, absolutely. It was wonderful.
So you're parked where now?
Down the street, not too far, quarter mile maybe.
All right, so you begin the day with an implosion. What else are you planning on doing today? Anything fun? You guys are out of school, right?
Yeah. Yes, we are.
All right, well, go have breakfast somewhere, and you can
watch the Falcons today.
watch the Falcons today. You can bill it to Channel 11, say that you've been working on TV, and that builds up an appetite.
Absolutely, we'll do it.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Have a safe trip back home to Marietta. We appreciate it. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
All right, so we have had an active morning this morning, and we've had the opportunity to see the implosion, and let's show some replays. I mean, this is something you're going to be seeing over and over and over. It took 12 seconds, and it took 4 months of planning. It took 35,000 hours of a workforce making sure that everything was set and ready to go and fall. And there was a lot of drama, a lot of theater. There's nothing quite like an implosion. You know, whether you see a hotel or you see an old bank, or you see a stadium. The stadiums seem to be the best ones. I have become an expert on implosions in Atlanta because, you know, that's what we like to do around here. We like to blow things up real good, and then we like to build things real good. And certainly we saw Atlanta Fulton County Stadium a few years ago. That was really an amazing implosion. We also saw the Omni a few years ago. And this was pretty darn good, pretty exciting as far as implosions go. Not that I am an expert on that, but I certainly do have some experience like many of you do as well. All right, we will take a break in the proceedings, and we will come back and continue to wrap it up. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jeff Hellinger on this cold Monday morning in Atlanta. If you missed the implosion about a half hour ago, don't worry, we got you covered right here, right now. How about another look? And by the end of the day, you will have seen this as many times as you can handle, but quite frankly, it never gets old. It is something to see. All the dynamite charges that bring down the Georgia Dome, all of the years, all of the months of planning that it took to put that thing up in the late 80s into the early 90s, and in 12 seconds, presto, it is gone. Reduced to rubble and a plume of smoke that covered the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and now that $1.5 billion stadium takes center stage here in Atlanta, and it has the area alone. Jennifer Leslie is at the Westin, and she has had one of the really wonderful views of the implosion today. Jennifer?
Jeff, not only did we get an amazing view of the implosion, but now we have a really great view of what's left. And this is probably going to sound a little too dramatic, but it almost looks like Roman ruins. It's really, you can see the sunlight beaming down on part of it, so you can really get a good view. You can see what's left. There are some part of the structure, the front face with the striping, that part is still standing. And it's so interesting to see what's still there and what's left as the smoke plume has cleared away. And now the real work begins to move all of this debris, to crush a lot of the concrete down into place to serve as the base for the green space parking and hotel that will rise up from the ashes here, if you will. It was really so incredible to watch this with 200 guests here on the 73rd floor of the Westin Peachtree Plaza at the Sundial Restaurant. They bought tickets sold out a couple of weeks ago, and this was perhaps the best seat in town to watch. You could hear the oohs and the ahs and the oh my goshes as it went off. Everybody surprised by how quickly the dome went down. Even though we were given plenty of heads up that it would only take 12 seconds, it seemed to go by in a flash. And wow, it was remarkable and a piece of history. There's a gentleman here who wanted to make a point of seeing this firsthand from this view. He was eyewitness to the implosion of the Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, and this was another marker, another time that he wanted to mark. And here he is with his son watching this. People came in from North Carolina, came in from all around to get this incredible view of this moment, this historic moment. So here we are. You can see what's left. There's a lot left, although it is remarkable how much has come down. And the plume of smoke well off, dissipating. And the real work, Jeff, begins now for these demolition crews. The cleanup work now begins.
All right, Jennifer, thank you. One of the interesting aspects for those of us along Ivan Allen is we are standing on these risers that they have put up here. The Georgia World Congress Authority had put up for, you know, a bevy of reporters and photographers and all. We have a really clear sight of the implosion. And as we got to about 5 seconds away, a giant MARTA bus pulls up, and the woman who's driving the MARTA bus stops, just dead stops right in the middle of the street, blocking about 85% of the photographers who had spent, 3 or 4 hours here setting up. Some very unhappy photographers, but nonetheless amusing in the sense of, you plan and you plan and you plan to cover these kinds of things, and then one MARTA bus makes sure that your view is not exactly as you had projected it. But everything has gone according to Hoyle. We are going to hear in the next few minutes from the Adamo company, is going to give a briefing about how all of this went. As we take a look on social media, there have been a lot of questions about the two screens or the two kinds of pillars that have remained. And we certainly will ask the question if that was by design or if perhaps that was something that didn't go as well as they thought. But, it's amazing. 83 feet separated Mercedes-Benz Stadium, 1.5 billion, and the Georgia Dome, and they were able to blow it up, and it fell down exactly as they wished, and it doesn't look like there was any damage to anything surrounding the stadium. It's amazing how they are able to do that. All right, that is a heck of a way to usher in Thanksgiving week here in Atlanta. There's a lot of kids are out of school, and maybe a little less traffic in downtown Atlanta. That's certainly one good thing today that has made this a little bit easier, I think, for Atlanta police and certainly for MARTA as well. But it has been an event and a great way to usher in the holidays. The choreography almost as good as the Nutcracker. Hey, that is it for the 11 Alive team. We really appreciate you watching us this morning, and we will now join the Today Show after these commercials. We will see you at 5, 6, 10 o'clock on WATL and the late feed on 11 Alive. So we have you covered. We will see you later in the day as Thanksgiving 2017 rolls toward Atlanta.